Straight ahead on 12 News, a lunch hour rush that started with a bang. What may have caused a vehicle to crash into this Brooklyn Park drive-in. But first, the verdict is in for a Brooklyn Park triple murder case. 12 News starts right now. Guilty on all 9 counts. A judge issued a verdict this afternoon finding Eddie Mosley guilty of last year's triple murder in Brooklyn Park.
Mosley was accused of killing Delois Brown and her parents James and Clover Bolden. Renee Bonneau was in the court for the verdict. She joins us on the phone with more. Renee?
Mike and Shannon, 45 minutes before the verdict was read, the courtroom was already filled with family, friends, witnesses, and several law enforcement officers, including members of the Brooklyn Park Police Department who had worked on this case more than a year ago and in the year that followed. In less than 5 minutes, it was over. When the verdict was read, Mosley appeared to have no reaction, whereas several family members of the victims embraced and cried in the courtroom. Afterward, Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman spoke to reporters, saying it was a case of extraordinary police work. He mentioned the work of Brooklyn Park's 50 officers and detectives who worked on the case, as well as St. Louis police officers and members of the Hennepin County Crime Lab. We also heard from defense attorney Travis Kyle, who said he was disappointed. He felt he had a strong case, but the judge did not see it that way. And finally, we heard from James Bolden, the brother of Delois Brown and the son of James and Clover Bolden. He says the family has struggled in this last year, and they've gotten through it. He said that he felt that they had the best prosecuting team in the state, and they were very happy with the outcome. I spoke with his wife earlier, too, and she said there was no doubt that he was going to be found guilty. They just wanted to hear it for themselves. Now, the 3 first-degree murder charges each carry a life sentence without parole, and Mike Freeman told reporters the state will ask that those life sentences be served consecutively, meaning one right after the other. The sentencing will take place tomorrow, and we'll also hear from victims in the victim impact statement section of this trial. So we will bring that to you at 4 o'clock on Friday. Mike and Shannon, back to you.
All right, Renee, thank you very much. Well, a popular Brooklyn Park drive-in almost became a drive-through, and it'll be closed after a car crashed into the kitchen.
Just before the lunch hour, a car ran off the road and right into the corner of Wagner's drive-in. The impact destroyed the kitchen sink and some of the plumbing, but thankfully none of the gas lines. People were inside, but no one was hurt. The owner says the crash happened just as the lunch rush started.
Now, we don't know what happened because there was no cars coming. He bounced off of one of my employees' cars, took out her back of her car, sent her car sideways, and then he creamed right in there.
Jim Wagner says the restaurant will be closed for a few days while repairs are made, but he hopes to be back up and running over the weekend. State Patrol is investigating the cause of the crash. They did arrest the driver for impaired driving.
A Golden Valley family is without a home today after a fire ripped through their townhome overnight. 7 fire crews could see flames and smoke coming from this townhome just after 1 a.m. Thursday. The fire spread from the lower level up the staircase and to the outside walls. 3 people inside heard smoke detectors and escaped before the fire blocked the exits. Working smoke detectors may have saved their lives.
Once again, stress and encourage is that people have smoke detectors and they check their smoke detectors, because the smoke detectors did definitely play a factor in the people getting out successfully.
Other people living in the adjoining townhomes also evacuated safely. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
The Plymouth City Council had to decide whether to punish a massage parlor for having an unlicensed employee accused of inappropriate sexual contact. The accusation involved now a former employee at the Massage Retreat and Spa. The female customer chose not to pursue criminal charges, but the City Council had to decide on a licensing issue. Massage Retreat and Spa management told the City Council that new safeguards are in place to make sure all of its employees are licensed and no previous violations occurred there. The Plymouth City Council took no action against the company.
After 37 years in New Hope, a new chapter will begin for a local restaurant. The Sunshine Factory plans to move into a spot where a Chinese restaurant once operated next to the Rockford Road Plaza Shopping Center in Plymouth. The Sunshine Factory plans to demolish the current building on Vinewood Lane and build a new one, complete with outdoor patio, fireplace, and bar. The goal is to open this fall. Sunshine Factory is moving because it couldn't reach a deal on a new lease at its New Hope location. There's been a setback for a Golden Valley restaurant hoping to build an outdoor patio. Schuller's Tavern needs a zoning change to make that happen, but city officials say they have had calls from neighbors voicing opposition, and there's not enough support yet on the city council. Owner Ray Jacob, however, says he's not giving up. He has a petition with more than 300 names in support. Jacob says without an outdoor patio, the restaurant is at a disadvantage in the summer.
What's keeping you from walking around the city where you live? Brooklyn Center is asking residents that question. Some streets like this one don't have sidewalks. The city and Hennepin County want to know if those obstacles could keep people from walking or biking. Brooklyn Center engineers will take citizen input and create a pedestrian and bicycle plan for the city.
The entire focus of this pedestrian and bike plan is to help the citizens of Brooklyn Center become more active and to lead healthier lifestyles.
You can check with Brooklyn Center City Hall through July 1st to take part in that survey. Any development project requires a combination of time, labor, and materials.
Those things generally don't come cheap, but as Delane Cleveland reports now, thanks to a group of volunteers from the northwest suburbs, a ranch that provides therapeutic horseback riding received a major overhaul free of charge.
Nearly an hour away from the northwest suburbs, a group of 125 people labor through the hot Lakeville sun.
No, I didn't want any gloves. Why not get my hands dirty?
Tatiana Reed is one of 50 student volunteers from Robbinsdale Cooper High School.
I love to volunteer. It's always been in me, so it's always exciting to do it, and I just love helping out.
Rebuilding Together Twin Cities organized the project, which teamed the students up with 75 volunteers
dig up the weeds
from Golden Valley-based Honeywell.
scraping off the paint.
We work with Rebuilding Together to pick a location that works best for not only the community but also our volunteers.
The lucky recipient of this goodwill gesture is Majestic Hills Ranch.
They're doing an incredible amount of work.
It's work that includes building a new wheelchair ramp, painting the arena, and constructing a patio brick by brick. Officials from Majestic Hills Ranch say all the labor and materials would have cost them about $20,000.
It really is an incredibly wonderful thing.
The benefits of community service are not lost on the students from Cooper.
Straight line, we could angle out a little bit.
But they have the added chance here to pick the brains of professionals.
It allows us to get an opportunity to not only make connections with people, but we also can learn some tips from them as well on different things. Like if somebody wants to go in that field, then they'll learn about it before even going into it.
Meantime, Majestic Hills employees eagerly anticipate not only the finished product,
Yes.
but the reactions of those who come here for the therapeutic nature of horseback riding.
Yeah, we have classes tonight, and I warned everybody that they were going to come here and go, is this the same ranch?
In Lakeville, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Majestic Hills Ranch offers programs for children with special needs and military veterans. Meantime, Honeywell employees say the group donated more than 1,000 volunteer hours for that event. Well, coming up, the Osseo High School student who's a good one to know in case of an emergency.
And then later in sports, Park Center and Armstrong meet on the softball diamond in the final week of the regular season.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast.
A former teacher has been named Hennepin County's 2012 Traffic Officer of the Year. Plymouth officer Ryan Peterson was given the award for his work in the city and throughout the county. In 2012, Officer Peterson issued more than 1,000 traffic citations. He'll eventually be switching to a different role in the Plymouth Police Department, where he will be investigating internet crimes against children. This week's Standout student is exactly the kind of person you want to have around in an emergency.
As Alexandra Renslow explains, Osseo senior Laura Seepman is well on her way toward a career in healthcare.
You are called to the scene of a 20-year-old male who was in a bicycle accident.
It's fitting we find Osseo senior Laura Seepman in her emergency healthcare class.
I'm going to put head blocks on his head to stabilize it.
This 18-year-old is driven by a desire to help and care for others.
That's the biggest thing in the health career, why I want to go into it, is because it's really a job that you're impacting others and helping others.
Laura is a very conscientious, hardworking, and caring individual. I think her care comes right from the heart.
Following in her mom's footsteps, Laura wants to become a nurse.
make sure there's no tenderness.
Thanks to this school program, Laura is already a certified first responder and a CPR instructor.
No medications or allergies were known.
She's also one test away from being certified as an EMT.
I believe in putting 100% of your effort into a job or a task, the best you can do.
That's evident in Laura's involvement at school, from a 3.9 GPA to captain of the softball team, homecoming queen, and a member of National Honor Society.
I'm going to check his skin.
In February, Laura and her team won first place in a state emergency care competition. Her healthcare teacher, David Casella, says Laura has found her calling.
I think she's got the right personality for it. She's got the skill set and she's got the drive. The kind of person you'd want to take care of you if something was wrong.
In Osseo, Alexandra Renslow, 12 News.
Laura will study nursing at the University of Minnesota in the fall. Well, coming up, our national anthem seen through the eyes of a Brooklyn junior high student.
But first, in sports, it's a pitcher's duel as Maple Grove battles Anoka for a shot at the conference softball title. Jay Wilcox has that and more when we come back.
Jay Wilcox with sports now, a combination of good pitching and good defense, and you get a low-scoring game, but exciting if you're a softball purist, I guess.
Yeah, runs hard to come by in this one. It's kind of like the 91 World Series, Jack Morris, that type of thing here. The Maple Grove softball team finished as state runners-up in Class 3A a year ago. Even with the graduation of some good talent, the Crimson is again one of the state's best teams. The Crimson trying to wrap up the Northwest Suburban Conference title against Anoka. Defense and pitching in this one. In the top of the third, Sydney Smith strikes out the side. The bottom of the third, Crimson with the runner on second. Anoka's Michaela Zimmer snags the hard ground ball, throws to first to end the inning. To the bottom of the fourth, it's still scoreless, and Anoka's Haley Gifford takes away an extra base hit from Brianna Bezo with a great diving catch. We go all the way to the bottom of the ninth without any runs, and that's when Smith ends it. Her two-out base hit to center scores Abby Bonnell from second. Crimson win the game 1-0, and they're the champion of the Northwest Suburban Conference.
It was inside, and I was just thinking base hit, move her around. And as soon as I hit it, I was like, oh, great, there's a pop fly. But then I saw it hit the ground. I knew Abby was on second, so I was like, we run. And I just felt good about it.
Maple Grove with a 14-1 record is the #1 seed in the Section 5 3A tournament that begins next week. Here's a look at the seedings for the section. Maple Grove is #1. Irondale is the #2 seed with Spring Lake Park 3rd and Coon Rapids 4th. All of those teams receive first-round byes. Rogers is seeded 6th, Osseo 8th, Champlain Park 9th, Park Center 11th, and Totino Grace 12th. In first-round games Monday, Champlain Park plays Osseo, Totino Grace meets Mounds View, and Park Center takes on Rogers. Maple Grove faces the winner of Osseo Champlain Park on Tuesday. The tournament concludes on May 30th with the championship. All games are at Rice Creek Park in Shoreview. Teams have not been seeded yet in Section 6 3A, which includes local schools Armstrong, Cooper, Wayzata, and Hopkins. Maple Grove's district rival Park Center battled for the top spot in the Northwest Suburban softball race the past few seasons. A much younger Pirates team has had its ups and downs this spring, but they're playing fairly well late in the regular season. They faced Armstrong in a doubleheader at Armstrong High School. Game 1 highlights, Alicia Meyer singles to left for Park Center. And it'll score Danielle Schaub. It's 1-0 Pirates in the first, and they add 2 more in the second. In the third inning, the pitch gets away, and Armstrong's Lexi Ripka will head home and beats the throw. The Falcons are on the board for the first time. A couple of batters later, Caitlin Jones tags one to deep left. It scores Kendra Rooney, and Armstrong is within 3-2 on a booming double by Jones. In the fourth, the Pirates get another run. Lauren Torborg scores on a wild pitch after doubling. The Pirates go up 4-2. To the sixth, and Ripka drives a hit down the third baseline to score Kelsey Meredith. Armstrong is back within a run at 4-3. But Park Center pitcher MJ Jellison comes through as a hitter, driving it down the right field line for a triple, leading off the bottom half of the sixth inning. And Jellison comes in to score an insurance run as Kira Musial lifts a fly ball to Meredith in center. Jellison tags up and scores on the sacrifice fly. Park Center wins 5-3. The Pirates also took Game 2. We're already into playoff time in boys tennis. Most local teams have started or will be getting started in section play. In Section 6AA, Cooper falls in a first-round match to Richfield 4-3. In second-round action Thursday, Armstrong is hosting St. Louis Park. The winner of that match gets the tough task of facing top seed and number 1 ranked Wayzata in the quarterfinals Monday. Number 3 seed Hopkins will be at home in the quarters against the South Holy Angels winner. In Section 5AA first-round play, Osseo edges Anoka 4-3. Park Center falls to 5th seed Irondale 6-1. Champlain Park eliminates Rogers 5-2, and Totino Grace falls to Coon Rapids 5-2. In quarterfinal play, top seed and defending champion Maple Grove hosts rival Osseo. Champlain Park's Rebels are at Centennial. And night baseball returns to Osseo High School for the first time in decades. Grant money funded a lighting project, and a dedication ceremony is slated for Friday evening. It takes place at 6:30 at Memorial Field behind Osseo High School. A new scoreboard will be dedicated as well, and an alumni game will follow at around 7 o'clock. And that field's been around a long time. Going to be interesting to see night baseball there.
I bet they're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a great addition for their school.
All right, thanks, Jay.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Still ahead, patriotic pride in a Brooklyn Park classroom.
We'll be right back.
It's against the law, but many motorists do it anyway. A new study shows many drivers are ignoring stop arm signs on school buses. One bus company tells us they see this kind of violation all the time.
You get these new shoulders on these new roads where they have like a full bike lane or something. You'll get people that just have no patience or no care in the world, and they just zip right by on the right-hand side.
Friday, beginning at 4, we'll have the results of the study, plus why this time of year is among the worst for these stop arm violations. Well, you might sing the words before a baseball game, but have you thought about what the Star-Spangled Banner means to you?
One 7th grader has, and his essay earned him a 3rd place finish in a statewide contest. Frederick Williams and his other 7th grade classmates at Brooklyn Junior High wrote about the national anthem for a contest by the Minnesota Elks Association. Williams won 1st place locally and then took a prize at the state level. He says the national anthem is about freedom and a blessing.
It's for everyone. Whether you're an immigrant or you're born here, it's as long as you come to make a life for yourself, the Star-Spangled Banner represents you.
Williams won a medal and $100. And I asked him what he was going to do. He said he was going to buy treats for all of his classmates, which was very generous. But the principal heard that and he said, no, keep your money. I'll supply the treats.
Even better.
So, yes, even better. He gets to keep his $100.
Very good.
That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Community Corner is coming up next, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow, beginning at 4.